If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. When we talk about breakout candidates heading into an NFL season, we usually throw around names that fans are already familiar with. Maybe guys who flashed in their rookie year or made some preseason noise. But in Cleveland, there's a quieter storyline brewing, one that isn't being shouted from the rooftops. Yeah! Second-year wide receiver Jamari Thrash, a fifth-round pick out of Louisville, is suddenly turning heads as a possible breakout star for the Browns in 2025. And no, this isn't just hype. With the receiver room thinned out after the departure of Elijah Moore and only Deontay Johnson and DeAndre Carter coming in, Thrash has a very real shot to earn a meaningful role. The Browns' offseason focus might have been on building a more physical, run-heavy offense, but even in systems like that, you need receivers who can separate, get open, and make life easier for whoever's under center. Now let's rewind for a second. Thrash's rookie year wasn't exactly memorable. In fact, it was pretty forgettable on paper. Just 98 pass snaps, 3 games with double-digit snaps, 0 buzz. But context matters. Rookies drafted on day 3, especially at the wide receiver position, rarely get the opportunity to make waves. In year 1, especially on a team trying to balance Deshaun Watson's return with a shifting offensive identity. Thrash didn't get the reps, sure, but he also didn't make a mess of the ones he did get. He was quiet, consistent, and most importantly, he stayed in the building. The coaching staff kept him around, which tells you one thing: there's something they like. And now, as OTAs roll on, Thrash isn't buried on the depth chart. He's starting to climb it. According to the Athletic's Zach Jackson, Thrash was the first man up in the slot during organized team activities. That might not seem huge at first. After all, the Browns are expected to lean more on 2 tight end sets this year. But it shows how he's being viewed internally. That slot receiver job is very much open for the taking. And with the Browns looking for consistency and chemistry in their passing game, someone like Thrash, who's known for crisp route running and straight line speed, could become a go-to target in short yardage or red zone situations. Even in a run-first system, those passing downs still matter. If Thrash can find his rhythm early, he could play his way into being more than just a depth piece. What makes Thrash intriguing isn't just his opportunity, it's his skill set. Coming out of Louisville, scouts talked about his ability to create separation with sharp routes. He's fast, agile, and has reliable hands. But the knock on him? Physicality. The NFL isn't kind to receivers who can't fight through jams or absorb contact after the catch. That's where Thrash struggled, and that's likely why he fell to the 5th round. But that was then. Now he's got a full year of NFL weight, training, film study, and practice reps under his belt. And that physical weakness is something you can work on. If he's bulked up and learned how to deal with press coverage, he's got every chance to change the narrative this year. And let's be real, part of what could make this a true breakout season is timing. Sometimes it's not about being our best guy in the room. It's about being the right guy at the right time. With Elijah Moore gone, the Browns are looking for answers in the receiving core. Amari Cooper is still a top option, no question. But after him, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Deontay Johnson is talented but inconsistent. David Bell hasn't popped. Cedric Tillman is still developing. And DeAndre Carter, mostly known for special teams. That leaves a gap, a void. And Thrash, if he plays his cards right, could be the guy who steps in and seizes that WR3 or even WR2. Roll by mid-season. Now here's the kicker. Thrash doesn't contribute much on special teams. That might sound like a negative, but in reality it ups the stakes. If he's going to make this roster, he has to do it as a real receiver, not just a utility guy. He doesn't have the luxury of floating on the depth chart waiting for an injury. He has to prove he belongs on the field from day one. That pressure? It might be the fuel he needs. We've seen it before. Young players thrive when their backs are against the wall. With every OTA rep, every preseason snap, Thrash is fighting not just for playing time, but for his NFL future. And from what we're hearing out of Browns camp, he's off to a promising start. Bleacher Report's Alex Ballantyne named Thrash the Browns' breakout candidate for the season. And it wasn't just a throwaway mention. It came alongside a breakdown of Cleveland's most competitive position battles, where the spotlight was predictably on the quarterback position. But the nugget about Thrash stood out because it wasn't obvious. It wasn't safe. Ballantyne saw something. Maybe it's the route running. Maybe it's the way Thrash has taken advantage of every snap this offseason. Whatever it is, this isn't just media buzz. The drumbeat is building in Cleveland. And if Thrash keeps showing out in training camp, the national media won't be far behind in picking up on it. Let's not forget what a breakout would actually mean for this Browns offense. This team is in transition. They've got the pieces, Watson, Chubb when healthy, a reliable O-line, and an underrated defense. But the receiving core is the question mark. If Thrash can emerge as a true threat in the slot or even outside, it completely changes the dynamics. Defenses won't be able to key in on Cooper. The tight ends, Njoku in particular, get more space. The play-action game opens up. And Watson? He gets a young receiver he can trust and grow with. That's a massive win for the Browns in both the short and long term. Of course, none of this is guaranteed. We've seen off-season darlings fade by September. But Thrash feels different. He's not flashy on social media. He's not dropping out mixtapes or calling out cornerbacks on Twitter. He's grinding quietly, just waiting for his shot. And now, with the door cracked open, he might just kick it down. This could be the season where Browns fans look back and say, man, remember when Jamari Thrash broke out in 2025? Because if he does, it won't just be a feel-good story. It'll be a pivotal moment in the evolution of Cleveland's offense. So keep your eyes on number 19 this preseason. Watch the routes, the hands, the toughness after the catch. If Thrash can keep stacking good days, there's a real chance he becomes one of the best surprises of the NFL season. Every year, there's a breakout player nobody saw coming until they did. And if you're a Browns fan or just someone who loves rooting for underdogs, Jamari Thrash might be the name you want to remember now before everyone else is talking about him. Because come September, this could be one of the most talked about wide receivers in the AFC North. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news that is absolutely shaking the NFL to its core. The rumor that's setting social media on fire today. Denzel Ward, the beloved Pro Bowl cornerback of the Cleveland Browns, has reportedly signed with none other than the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's right, one of Cleveland's proudest defensive stars is allegedly jumping ship to their most bitter historic rival. The reaction, absolutely explosive. Browns fans across the nation are lighting up their timelines in disbelief, rage, and heartbreak. It's like a betrayal of Shakespearean proportions, folks. People always say that the NFL is a business first, but for Cleveland loyalists, this feels deeply personal. How could a homegrown star, drafted 4th overall, turn his back on the Dawg Pound and cozy up with a team they've despised for decades? The emotions are running higher than ever, and this story is just getting started. Denzel Ward wasn't just any player for the Browns. He was a symbol of their resurgence, a cornerstone of their defense, and let's not forget, a hometown hero from Nordonia, Ohio. From the moment he was drafted in 2018, fans felt that he wasn't just representing the team, but the entire city and its passionate, long-suffering fan base. His game-changing interceptions, acrobatic pass deflections, and undeniable swagger made him a fan favorite overnight. Ward embodied that gritty underdog spirit that Cleveland prides itself on. So you can only imagine the utter devastation Browns fans are feeling right now. Seeing reports of him donning black and yellow, those infamous Steelers colors, is more than a shock. It's a gut punch. For many, it's like watching a family member cross enemy lines. The very idea of Ward celebrating a Steelers touchdown against his old team is almost too much for some to bear. And let's talk about the fans' reactions, because wow, it has been nothing short of nuclear. Videos and photos have already surfaced all over social media showing Browns supporters burning their Denzel Ward jerseys in pure fury. We're talking bonfires in driveways, charred number 21 jerseys thrown into trash bins, and passionate rants going viral on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Some fans have even gone so far as to declare that Ward is now public enemy number 1 in Cleveland. It's astonishing how quickly a hero can become a villain in the world of professional sports. One minute, you're the pride of the city, and the next, you're a symbol of betrayal. That's the emotional roller coaster that sports fans ride. And no fan base rides that ride harder than a Dawg Pound. Their loyalty is legendary, but so is their capacity for wrath when they feel scorned. Of course, this move, if confirmed, isn't just about emotions. There are massive strategic implications on the field too. The Steelers have been searching for a shutdown cornerback to bolster their secondary and help them keep pace in the fiercely competitive AFC North. Adding Denzel Ward to that defensive unit would instantly make Pittsburgh's defense one of the most formidable in the league. Imagine Ward lining up against his former teammates like Amari Cooper or David Njoku. The storylines practically write themselves. Meanwhile, for the Browns, losing Ward would create a glaring hole in their secondary, forcing them to either rely on unproven young players or make a desperate scramble in free agency. It's a seismic shift in the balance of power within the division, folks, and it could set the tone for seasons to come. Let's rewind for a second and consider what could have led to this jaw-dropping move. There had been whispers over the past few months about Ward's dissatisfaction with the Browns front office. Reports surfaced suggesting that contract negotiations had hit multiple snags, with Ward allegedly feeling underappreciated despite his consistent Pro Bowl level play. On top of that, rumors hinted at some tension between Ward and the Browns coaching staff regarding defensive schemes and his role within the team. Combine that with the Steelers reportedly offering him a lucrative multi-year contract and the opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl, and suddenly the unthinkable starts to make a lot more sense. Sometimes in this league, relationships sour and business decisions take precedence over loyalty and sentiment. And speaking of sentiment, let's not overlook how the Steelers fan base is reacting to this bombshell. Predictably, Pittsburgh fans are over the moon. They're welcoming Ward with open arms, showering him with love on social media, and celebrating this as a massive win in their ongoing rivalry with the Browns. For years, they've watched Cleveland slowly climb out of the cellar and become a legitimate contender. Snatching away one of their most important players is a classic chess move, and Steelers Nation knows it. Already you can see mock-up images of Ward in a Steelers uniform circulating online, with fans gleefully predicting pick sixes and lockdown performances against his former team. For Pittsburgh, this isn't just about getting a great player. It's about psychologically demoralizing their rivals. But let's not sugarcoat it. This is going to make Browns-Steelers matchups even more must-watch than they already were. The rivalry, already one of the NFL's fiercest and most historic, has now been injected with a fresh dose of personal drama. Every time Ward steps onto the field against Cleveland, it's going to be electric. The boos from the Dawg Pound will be deafening. The trash talk will be next level, and you can bet that players on both sides will have this story in the back of their minds. Rivalries are what make sports great, and when you add personal betrayals and high-stakes games into the mix, it elevates everything. This next chapter in the Browns-Steelers saga is going to be absolutely legendary, and I, for one, cannot wait to watch it unfold. Of course, there are still some key questions hanging in the air. For starters, is this deal officially done? As of right now, it's still technically being reported as a rumor by multiple outlets. But the smoke is thick, folks. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. Sources close to both organizations are hinting that an announcement could be imminent. If this deal is finalized, it's going to dominate headlines for weeks. Also, how will Ward himself address the situation? Will he post a heartfelt farewell to Cleveland fans? Or will he go the Kevin Durant route and keep things vague and professional? The way he handles this transition will undoubtedly shape how the public perceives him moving forward, either as a cold-hearted mercenary or simply a player making the best decision for his career. Meanwhile, Browns management is under intense scrutiny. Fans and analysts alike are asking, how did they let this happen? How did one of their franchise cornerstones slip through their fingers and end up with their most hated rival? Some are calling it a front office failure of epic proportions, suggesting that the Browns should have done whatever it took to keep Ward in Cleveland. Others argue that it's the nature of the business and that you can't mortgage your team's future for one player, no matter how talented. Either way, This saga is raising serious questions about the Browns' long-term vision and their ability to retain elite talent. And for the fans, it's yet another chapter in a long history of heartbreak and what-ifs. As for Ward himself, he now faces the daunting task of proving that his controversial move was the right one for his career. He'll be under the microscope more than ever before. Every play he makes, every game he plays against Cleveland will be dissected and analyzed endlessly. If he excels and helps lead the Steelers deep into the playoffs or even to a Super Bowl, he'll be hailed as a genius who bet on himself and won. But if he struggles, or worse, if the Browns somehow get the upper hand in future matchups, he could find himself haunted by this decision for years to come. That's the weight of such a dramatic move, and that's what makes this story so fascinating. Stay tuned, folks, because this one is far from over. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!